This is the Perfect Combiner PC02 and PC04 Combiner upgrade sets, purple versions, well, for the PC02 purple version, for the Transformers Combiner Wars Menasor, or the combined mode of the Stunticons by Hasbro, or by Takara if you want. Motor Master, Breakdown, Dead End, Drag Strip, and Wild Rider. So essentially, it's a third-party product. It is not a Hasbro product, but you know, I'm very picky with third-party products because a lot of the times my philosophy is you wait a little longer for Hasbro to do their own version. They probably do a better job. I'm speaking specifically about the Masterpiece. There are a lot of third-party Masterpiece-ish type of products out there, and I've learned in the years of collecting Masterpiece figures that the Hasbro Takara Tomy versions end up much better than the third-party Masterpiece product. However, there are Hasbro products that have limitations. For instance, the Combiner Wars, and that's as good as it gets. And this is the time that I felt you had to do some upgrades, particularly the Menasor combined mode. I was very disappointed with the Menasor. If you've seen my review, it was just not the Menasor I grew up with back in the 80s. So I said I'd get the upgrade. And when I looked at pictures of the upgrades, here's a look at the box. Here's the PC04, PC02. The PC02 has 2 feet and 2 hands that both turn into Gatling guns and weapons for each of the figures. It's very easy to do. You just split up each of the feet, and then you turn the toes. You just fold them, they become Gatling guns. They reveal Gatling guns actually. With the fingers, you just split them apart and you fold them here and there. They become guns. It's no big deal. That's not why you're getting the set. They're just an addition. I mean, that extra feature is just a plus or gravy on the side for me, because what you're really after is how it can augment your combined mode. The PC04 involves getting an actual torso for Menasor with the shoulder pads or whatnot, and then a new head and an extension for the sword. It's a middle piece that you put the top part and the handle on it, and it becomes a bigger sword, just like that. And the chest piece it's a wraparound. It goes wraparound like this. The biggest parts are on the back, like that. They form, and they also look nice in vehicle mode, but I'm not going to show that. I'm not going to show off the vehicle mode, the weapons mode, and whatnot, because that's not what we're after. This video is really going to talk about how those 2 kits upgrade your Menasor. Incidentally, you will need to remove pieces. You will need to remove both fists so that you can put the articulated fingered fists, and then you will need to remove, we'll do a size comparison later. You will need to remove the feet, obviously, for the bigger feet. You will need to remove this piece. This is like a waist piece. It's not riveted or anything. It's just like on a friction joint. You just pop it off ever so gingerly so you don't break anything, and then you pop in right here. This is like the joint where you pop it in, pop it off, and you pop this entire assembly that goes all the way at the back and replace that. And then you need to remove the head. It doesn't pop off as easily. You'll need to unscrew this part, and then the horns will fall off. The back piece will, the front piece can't be removed, and then you snap off the back piece, and you just snap that thing on without any screws or anything. That thing just pops off, the new head. And just looking at the head sculpt, I mean, this. Let me give you a close up on that. Comparing to the generations, the Combiner Wars head. This is the more G1 head, and it's a bigger, more proportioned head than this one. This one's like Unicron's younger brother or something like that. Just dramatic change. There's a much better change in this new Menasor with this upgrade. So I'm very pleased. I never thought I'd be so pleased with it. I had very low hopes, very low expectations. I said it was going to look better, but I didn't expect to look this much better. Now you can still put blackjack on him. Blackjack just hangs around like that. And yeah, I kind of agree with most of the other collectors that he kind of ruins the whole aesthetic with this new upgrade kit. So you can remove him as well, and you can keep the chest pieces open, or you can just shut him like this and make it a little bit more G1, like that. And he looks so much better. I'm assuming if you bought the Takara version, he'd look way cooler with the better colors and whatnot. Okay, so let's talk about the feet. The feet do turn to Gatling, but they do have these rocker joints. I'm nitpicking here, okay? My main concern with the feet is that it's only connected by that singular peg right there, 5mm peg, 3.5mm peg. Yeah, and it's just hung on by a ball joint right there. There's a ball joint there, and there's a peg right there, and I'm thinking over the years, if the plastic degrades because of temperatures and humidity here in Manila, it could break off. But that's just nitpicking. It looks great. It's stable enough. It's easy. The feet just don't move. The only reason this Menasor is a little bit shaky is because of the weak hinges my Motormaster has. That from the beginning, from the get-go. So very, 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 very weak hingy hips right there from my Motormaster, and that's not the upgrade kit's problem. It's Hasbro's problem. Okay. So it looks great. It's very stable. The feet are more proportioned. The head is more proportioned. Just phenomenal. Just give you a look at the sword. I'm trying not to move it too much because he is a little bit heavy because of the upgrade. The sword looks great. It's like you can slice and dice with that thing. Very, very nice. I'm very, very pleased with it. I'd like to point out a few things though. For the sword, it's a little bit tight to get into right here. Let me try and take it off. This part, this one's easy. I mean, or no, sorry, this one is the hard one. This one's very easy to put. This is the middle section, and I think they match that silver very nicely. The handle to the lower end is very easy to put in, but this one is like very, very hard. It's super tight. It's as tight as a okay, but it's tight, and you'll have to screw in that peg right there in that hole, like do several screws like in and out like that before you can really get it. See, even now it's still tight. I try to put it in and out, and it's still tight. So just be careful with that. If you want to preserve the integrity of this piece, you wanna gently, just don't shove it all the way in the first go. Just very gingerly twist and turn, get it in right there, and once you get the hang of it, then you can go in and out. So that's that for the sword. The other thing I was going to say is I was going to talk about these hands. When I first saw them, I was like, man, these hands, I'm never going to use them. I thought that these had the more masculine, the more brutish type of feel to it. I said, these things are like baloney. I'm not going to use this. It's like fingers moving in and out. But I was wrong, and I'm very glad that I was wrong, because I've never had so much fun with fingers. I can remember. Well, actually, I can remember. I'm not going to say it anyway. But the playing with the fingers and the fists of this particular upgrade was just amazing. I mean, there's so much you can do with them. It's very expressive. It's like one of those, if you go to artist school, to sketching school, they give you a hand, like a wooden hand that's articulated, so you learn how to draw a fist or a hand or fingers pointing. Then you just pose those that hand. For artists out there, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like that, and I was so impressed. I decided to use it. Even the fists. I mean, I thought it would look so funny, but if you articulate the fingers enough like that to give it some dramatic look to it, it's just amazing. I am so pleased with this set, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's a wonderful, wonderful set. You will have to pay the price of a leader class figure to get both. A little over a leader class figure, maybe a Takara Tomy leader class figure to get both sets. But I think it's well worth the price you pay for it. So let me just back up the camera and show you some size comparisons. Just before we end this video, I've rambled on too long, gushed too much. Here he is with Supreme Leader Megatron. All hail Megatron. And that's... some people will argue it's off-scale. Megatron should be about like a deluxe class size. Or, yeah, something like that. But I like it. I like the way this thing works. I like the drama between... I like the dramatic scale between these two. Just amazing. And then in the 80s, if you watch the Transformers every Saturday morning... you know, the Superion, the Autobots made jets that to combat the Decepticons, because the Decepticons were jets, and you know they were flyers. And Megatron decided to combat the Autobots on the road. He made his own cars, Menasor, and these two were always pitted against each other, until that time when Bruticus came and Devastator and whatnot. But these two I thought were the nemesis, the arch rivals, and I think they scale better this time around. In the cartoon, Menasor always felt a little bit bigger than Superion. I mean, logic will dictate that a bunch of jets combining will ultimately be much bigger than a bunch of cars and a truck combining. But in the cartoons, yeah, logic doesn't exist, and Menasor was always bigger, and I thought this is a better scale for them. So, all in all, I am very, very pleased with this set. This set, despite all my nitpicking comments, will get a 10 out of 10. I love it. I cannot recommend it enough. Don't overpay too much for it. Pay about $60, $70 should be top for both sets. And it's a great. It'll do so much wonders for your Menasor, combined mode, and just a few pieces of plastic just does marvelous things to already an awesome combined mode. There you go, folks. The perfect combiner PC02 and PC04 upgrade kits, upgrade sets for the Transformers Generation Combiner Wars Menasor. Thanks for watching.